Verse by verse meditations. Genesis chapter 10. Genesis chapter 10, verse 30. And their dwelling was from Mesha, as thou goest unto Sephar, a mount of the east. This is the verse that shows that the descendants of Joktan actually settled on the Arabian Peninsula. Let's have a look at this particular map. So Mesha would be right around here, and Sephar, which is the mountain in the east, because this is west, this is the mountain in the east, so they settled in this region between here and there. This topographical map of the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula shows that Joktan's descendants would have settled along the coast along this portion. Here, we can see that the majority of the Arabian Peninsula is made up of deserts. Prior to conducting this study in Genesis chapter 10, I was of the opinion that the Arabian Peninsula was practically uninhabitable. Although the majority of the landmass is made up of a lot of desert, vast amounts of human civilizations do continue to thrive even until now. Here, we can see the population density. This was back in 1961, but the darker regions show where the people were actually living. And even in the desert regions, we have people living. This map is more recent. I think it's about 2017. And as we can see where the people are settled along the northern coast of Africa, Turkey is heavily populated. Here's Iran and here's Iraq, Syria. As we can see, Saudi Arabia takes up the main portion of the Arabian Peninsula. There's Oman and Yemen at the southern tip. And you can see there seems to have been population growth since 1961. As we can zoom in, we'll be able to see some of these regions a little bit better. So this is where Joktan's children would have settled. The Queen of Sheba would have come from Yemen. Well, Yemen is the name now. So we must often remember that living in different locations often produce different mindsets. I have Canadian brothers and sisters that have the distinct pleasure of shoveling snow during the winter, whilst the majority of persons here in the Bahamas have never even seen snow. So sometimes it's hard for us Westerners to grasp how persons can live near or in deserts. Consider James chapter 1 and verse 2. My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into divers temptations. In my opinion, these peoples have a higher level of resiliency compared to many of us urban dwellers. At the end of each year, I often see statuses that say, Lord, I'm tired being one of your strongest soldiers. Many believers often pray for an easier life, not knowing that more can be accomplished with steel than can be accomplished with plastic. I've always admired this quote from Usain Bolt. I trained 4 years to run only 9 seconds. And there are people who do not see results in 2 months. They give up and quit. Let's consider Philippians chapter 3, verses 13 and 14. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before. I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. And now, let's consider 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ.